So we've heard this afternoon of a number of quite surprising developments in the law that have taken place over the last year. Arbitration is quieter in London now. The large number of cases that followed the collapse in the market have now been decided. But even though there is a lower level of activity, these interesting judgments keep coming forward. Now, we're very conscious of the late hour of the day, and we're also conscious of the fact that we have a very distinguished group of panelists here this afternoon. We've agreed with them in advance that we won't put people on the spot by challenging them to make a question or a comment, but we have said that if any of the panelists would like to ask a particular question or raise a particular point from what we've heard this afternoon, they should let us know, and we'd be delighted to hear from them. I gathered, I was told that Mr. Cameli had a question he wanted to raise.
Yes, I have a couple of questions actually, one for Mr. David Pitledge and one for David McInnes. First of all, I would like to thank you. As a poor commercial man, I would like to thank these very famous lawyers for giving us the lectures tonight. It would be interesting to carry on and talking, because I mean there are lots of issues that we would like to talk about, but it's late. So to the happiness of the audience, I'll keep it very short. David, I will just put one scenario on a sale and purchase issue. Pretend I'm an owner. I'm selling you a ship which you inspect. Sorry, is it better? Better now? Okay. You inspect the ship, it's a product carrier. Because of the trade pattern of the ship, you're able to inspect only X many tanks, which you find with the perfect coating. So everything else is fine on the ship. You accept the ship. Is it okay? I can go out of the room to talk, but if you prefer. So it becomes an outright sale. Deposit is lodged, it comes the time of delivery, the money is paid, you take delivery of the ship. You start trading the ship, you go to the first loading port, and you get rejected because one of the tanks has got, the coating is in terrible conditions. By chance, you didn't inspect that tank. Did I misrepresent the ship? Is it the case? So that, and then I'll have a question for.
Sorry to take the sale and purchase. Okay.
I'll go.
Okay. Well, I think the question you probably want to be asking is: you're the seller. Am I going to make a substantial monetary claim against you for damages? Misrepresentation, as I said in my story, is part of the answer, but it's not the full part. If you've not said anything to me, or not passed me any documents which might reasonably lead me to believe that you're representing that all of the tanks are properly quoted, then I think the misrepresentation case doesn't get to first base, because you've made no representation. So let's just assume on this hypothesis that you're a shrewd person, a few words, so I don't have a misrepresentation case. The question then goes very much to the union power issues we described, and then I think we've got to look at which regime we're going under. If we take what we might call the current baseline of NSF 13 with no entire agreement clauses, then we'll be looking at, we'll break it down. I assume she's properly class maintained, that's fine, that's paper. If the damage to those coatings was not caused by, let's say, an insured risk or something that would give rise to an insurance claim, I don't have a Clause 11 right under that, so I will inevitably look to the Sale of Goods Act. And that's interesting. I will, of course, try to make something of these nebulous terms of satisfactory quality, some of which, as we saw, relate to fitness for purpose, durability, safety perhaps. I would say I bought your product carrier to trade and to fill its tanks with products. It's not fit for the purpose. But 1 out of a number of tanks is marginal. Inspection, and a point I didn't make in the slide, but there are 2 other things which will disarm the Section 14 warranty. One is where you've drawn something to my attention on the hypothesis that you're a taciturn seller. You haven't done that. The other relates to the inspection itself. You will not be able to rely on these implied terms if you've inspected the goods and that inspection should have revealed the damage. We would have an interesting argument then about whether the inspection is, should be of all holds and whether that particular term would be triggered by this inspection. So I think it would come down to 2 things. Was it of satisfactory quality? And that's why the Section 14 warranty is unattractive, because it's vague. And the other one will be about the inspection and what it should have revealed.
Thank you. And can I ask a question to David McInnes? How many awards have been published under the LOF 2011? And has anyone applied for an award not to be published?
There are 6 awards that have been published under LOF 2011. So that is all there is on the Lloyd's website. That's not a sign that there haven't been many LOF salvages or the system isn't working. What happened, as I said, the LOF 2011 applies to any Lloyd's salvage after the form came in, which I think was May 2011. But then, of course, you have to have completed the salvage. The salvors must have started arbitration proceedings. You must have gone through the arbitration proceedings. The arbitrators written up their award and published it. So that process takes some time, and that's why, although the form came in 2011, there are so few published awards. In fact, all of those awards are ones published this year. So there were no arbitrations that were completed between the form coming in and the end of 2012. But going forward, it's like there will be a lot more awards being published, so you will have this body of jurisprudence and numbers and comparables that should make the process a lot easier. There haven't been, so far as I'm aware, any applications for an award not to be published. So at the moment there isn't really any guidance on what a good reason for not publishing would be.
On a light note, just to finish with a laugh, a question to Francesco from me, Valeria and David. Can you put us in a morning session next time, if you invite us again?
I saw that Roger Evans wanted to make a brief comment on LOF.
Extremely brief, yes. I could do with a beer. Basically, just to say, probably following on from that, we sort of probably settle nearly 80% of our LOFs, so they're not going to come out in any settlement award. You're not going to know that, so that's the only point. So it is a bit misleading sometimes. That's all.
No, please. I'm sure Mr. Giuseppe Bottiglieri has something to say, to share with us, or isn't it about this last panel, about the opportunity to build or not to build in this difficult moment? What's your idea, your opinion?
Sì, very...
To be or not to be, or to build or not to build?
To build or not to build? To buy or to sell, you know? Depends by the market. What are the decisions of the industry? Today the market is moving up. Today exactly another 68 points on the Capes up, and 49 on Panamax are putting, for an example, Capesides are running around on a front haul about $60,000. On a 5 to 7 months $30,000, while Panamax are running at 15,000, 16,000 for a short trip, or 12, 13 on a longer period. This is creating in the market now people are losing their mind. We have 5 goals that during the Mare Forum in Rome this year in May, I have participated at this forum with a relation in which we predicting a market up in this moment. This is what is happening now. The 5 goals that went up was the first, that the scrap of demolition was very, very high in 2012 and the first 6 months of this year, not with the same importance of 2012, but still going for demolition many ships in both dry cargo and tankers. The second goal was that the order book was dramatically off and reduced for the next years. And the third goal was that all European banks, we are very lucky for this, they disappear from the market. And this is what we want, Mr. Moderman. This is, you are the only one finance man sitting now because it's very late. But this is the way. You cannot finance shipping industry asking to be paid regularly if the market, the order book will go up again. Impossible. The fourth goal is that the shipbuilders industry understood that the situation was bad. They realized to convert their shipyards, especially in China, from not only shipbuilders, but they reduced the capacity and converting in ship repair yard and also scrapping, green scrapping yards. Finally, the fifth goal that we expect, and it was this goal that made the market up now, is the stimulus package in China. China is moving up again, and as soon China asked more iron ore, the market went up. And the difference now between what is happening now and what was happened in 2007, 2008, is that the big difference consists in the fact that now we know what happened in the 2007 and 2008, we know the market how was moving, and this is why now the owners of Capesides arrived until $60,000 a day in 1 week, because they know that it's possible to ask much more, because they know what happened last time. Therefore, the market is extremely volatile. As the market increase of $20,000 in 1 day, can lose the day after $20,000. This is something strange, but anyway, it's something that in the past happened, and we know in the past the market for Capesides in the strong market arrived at 230,000. Nevertheless, the people that are going to speculate are starting up again. Looking the market, they are now so stupid that they are looking to invest again in a few days. People just now looking up, but we don't expect the market to go up like this. We have intention to look again in the market. This is a very bad situation, that the people are going to speculate. There are many speculators that are investing with the new building, but up to now are people coming from our stock market mainly, and this is not their money. They are using the money of other people, but the reality is that we must be cautious and we have to buy second-hand vessel. This is the truth. We have the people that want to do something now, they have to go in the second-hand market, pay much more, continue, but from second-hand. If they go in the put again a new building, next crisis will come very soon, very, very soon. Maybe if they insist on this and they will create some form of ball again in the system, in the shipbuilding industry, will be a catastrophe next year, because the fighting between ship owners and charterers is incomparable. Ship charterers, they know on the marine traffic system, you know everybody, and check how many ships are laying, are ballasting, are going in the loading area. They know exactly from monitor of internet how the fleet in the world is moving. On the other side, the owner and the ship brokers, they don't know how many cargoes are lying under the desk. Charterers will take one cargo every day, looking at the ships, okay, there are only one cargo, two ships pushing down the market. Now they cannot do in this moment, because we realize that China is asking too much iron ore, India is asking too much coal, and speculation on the Baltic change, that is another story that we don't like at all. And what happened in the Baltic and what is going on, we don't trust. Be careful when we talk about Baltic change and the information that are released. I am able to say this. I am not afraid, somebody called me. I told Jeremy Penn, be careful what's happening, because what happened with the LIBOR and the maneuvering on the quotations, Baltic change is the same. And it's bad, it's very bad, because it's in the hands of very few people that are managing the information. We know, because we charter our ships and we know the information received, that the truth is never them. Now there is one bank, the biggest bank in USA, that is JP Morgan. They got one very big fine of $920 million because they have manipulated information on the derivatives. And the Baltic change is the same story. And therefore the fighting, and when the market is going up, they used to not to give too many information, and it's going slowly up. But as soon as the market is down and somebody is selling FFA, push down 200, 300 points. And all banks, all financial institutions, they are looking in the morning, they learn now, they go, take Lloyd list, take information and say, it's going up the market, it's going down. And they prefer to follow this system rather than what is the physical entity. And first of all, we have to study macroeconomy, global macroeconomy in the world before we take some decision where to invest, in which kind of ships, rather than weight cargo or tankers. You know, we have to make an analysis that is very, very difficult to do that. But only with that, not because other people speculating and pushing up or down the market. Therefore, second hand, if is my opinion. Thank you very much.
Well, I think it's always good to end on a note of controversy, and it certainly does that. Thank you, Giuseppe. I think we must press on now. I'm sure that we'll have offended somebody by not taking any more questions, but we're in danger that the conference dinner will become the conference breakfast. So I think that we must, with thanks to our speakers, bring this session to an end. Thank you very much.